Live from FedEx Forum and the American Home Shield Studio, this is The Odds Couple on GrindCityMedia.com. Handicapping all the football action, here's Rob Fischer and Lang Whitaker.
Hello, good people. Welcome to The Odds Couple. Rob Fischer, Lang Whitaker with you. Lang is back from his travels. How are you, sir?
I missed you guys last week.
We missed you as well. We missed you.
Heard Roser filled in admirably.
He was spectacular on the show last week.
Thanks, Roser.
No problem, Lang.
He's back with us as well this week. We got a busy show for you. It is college football title game.
I'm just glad Lang is alive and didn't get eaten by a tiger.
That is true.
Well, we'll see what happens to Clemson. Well, I guess they're both
Yeah,
Tigers.
one of them,
Two
one of them.
Tigers.
Yeah.
One of them will get eaten by a tiger. Yeah.
Yeah.
Clemson and LSU. We'll talk college football championship game. Also, NFL Playoff Divisional Round as we get cooking here in the NFL playoffs and what was a very interesting first weekend of the National Football
Don't you
League
feel
playoffs.
like, other than maybe the Ravens, I guess the Titans maybe too, but like all these other teams, it could be 5 years ago. It's the same quarterbacks, the same, for the most part, systems. Nothing's really that different than it was a couple of years ago.
Except New England.
Well, they're out
One
of it.
noticeable
Yeah.
difference.
Yeah, we all hate to see that, don't you?
Yes, you really do.
Yeah.
It was interesting last week. 3 road teams winning last week and a couple of overtime games last week. And, kind of changing of the guard, I guess. From the recent guard.
I mean, look, Tom Brady's 53 years old. Like, we knew this was not going to last forever. You had to, right?
Yeah.
It is kind of fun, though. For everyone else. I get it. People are like, oh, I saw someone say.
But for him to lose at home to the Titans?
To the Titans. To
Yeah.
Vrabel, like
Yeah.
a former Patriot. With using Bill Belichick's weird clock trick down the stretch that made Belichick mad now. But the whole thing was just very strange.
Yeah, it was a good weekend. It was a fun weekend. As we look back at Wild Card Weekend, and in the AFC, it was Buffalo losing to Houston at overtime 22-19. This is a weird Houston team. Week in and week out, just not really sure how good they are, because some weeks they can look great, and then some weeks they can look so-so, and most of this game looked so-so, and then came back and scored 19 straight, send it to overtime, and then get their first playoff win since 2016.
When Watt got hurt, I thought that was kind of it for them this year. But they've been awesome. Like, that defense I think they're good. Like, I don't, Watson, since he got to the NFL, people were like, why didn't the Bears take him instead of Trubisky and all this stuff? And now they're showing why they took him. And I feel like this is a team. I saw the list of all the guys who used to coach for Belichick who have gone on to other teams, and all of them have been terrible except in Houston.
Bill O'Brien.
Bill O'Brien.
Yeah.
So maybe this is his year. What if Belichick doesn't get there this year, but another Belichick
Bill
guy
O'Brien
does? Yeah.
could be that guy. Bill O'Brien, one of the great cussers in the league as well. He's one of the fantastic cussers. Did not cuss in his post-game press conference, but did talk about the big win over the Bills.
There's not a lot of words to describe what it's like in that locker room. I mean, these guys they're very resilient. You got a good group of guys that really care about each other. They care about trying to do the right thing. They want to do the right thing. I think it shows you the heart of this team. Now, we've got a lot to clean up moving forward, but I can say that I think you guys would agree that, there's a lot of character in that locker room. I think our guys took the approach all week to just play the next play, try to do the next right thing. Maybe that previous play, maybe we made a mistake, but we're going to try to do the right thing on the next play. And I think they tried to do that all game, and we kept our poise on the sideline, and guys kept hanging in there, and defense came up big, and thought our kicking game was decent, and, Deshaun Watson came up big.
He sure did, especially avoiding that sack when he had 2 guys ready to crunch him, and he somehow got away.
Do we stop killing Houston now for trading Clowney?
I don't think so.
Yeah.
Yes,
He was huge.
I do think so.
He was
I think
huge
we're
for the
done.
Seahawks against the Eagles, and if you have him with Watt gone, now you could really use him. But they won without him.
Yeah.
So
and they won at home, and now this week they'll be on the road. Houston advances, beating Buffalo. Tennessee wins in Foxborough against New England 23-13. They hold the Patriots just 307 yards of offense. Tennessee only had 272, 182 of them coming from Derrick Henry, who also scored a touchdown. They only had 71 passing yards, but certainly watching that second half, especially in the fourth quarter, you just kept expecting New England to get that score, get that touchdown, and win the ball game, and it just never happened.
Brady had the ball right down the stretch. He had the last shot to do it, and he couldn't do it. So I guess it's time for him to quit.
Well, let's hear what he had to say after the game. Tom Brady, quarterback of the Patriots, 42 years old, not 53, as I reported earlier. 42 years old for Tom Brady, talking about his future after the game.
I don't want to get too much into the future and stuff. And, I just don't know what's going to happen. And, I'm not going to predict it. And no one needs to make choices at this point. I love playing football. I love playing for this team. I love playing for this team for 2 decades and winning a lot of games. And, again, I don't know what it looks like moving forward. So we'll just take it day by day. I love the Patriots. I mean, they obviously it's the greatest organization, and, playing for Mr. Kraft all these years. And for Coach Belichick, I mean, there's nobody who's had a better career, I would say, than me, and just being with them. So I'm very blessed, and I don't know what the future looks like, and I'm not going to predict it. So I think we're all running out of time and chances every year that goes by. So I don't think I'm the only one in that category in this room, or probably in any of these rooms.
Patriots were 12-4 on the season, yet no one really believed in them.
They had a super easy schedule.
It always helps when you're in the AFC East.
Yeah, they had an easy schedule. Other than Brady, who was their difference maker on offense this year?
Yeah.
I don't, they didn't have a Randy Moss or one of those type guys.
Gronk.
Or Gronk, yeah. Gronk's on the Kelly Clarkson show cooking steaks and stuff. He's not – I literally saw that yesterday.
It's a terrible show, by the way. Terrible.
Come on.
It's terrible. And I love Kelly Clarkson, but that's a terrible show.
Got to talk about what's happening behind those hazel eyes.
It's terrible.
Anyway, there's no other difference maker on that team other than Brady, and Brady's 53 years old. There's no way that you could trust that they would get it done. They were a lot better defensively, I thought, the first half of the season, and then people kind of figured that out down the stretch and started playing tougher teams, and now Tom Brady's going to be on the cover of AARP magazine next month.
Where's he going to be playing next year?
XFL.
No, he's not playing in the XFL. Who's he playing for in the NFL? I
mean, here's the thing. If we learned anything from Bill Belichick, he's usually the first to move on from a player when it's time to go, right? He has zero sentimentality. As soon as you're not useful anymore, you're out of there. He's done it throughout the whole time he's been there, 20 years. Did you see after the game, you played all those quotes from Brady. Belichick said, "No one's thinking about the future." And I was like, that's a lie.
Right.
You were clearly thinking, the moment that game ended, you were thinking about the future.
Well, he tried to a couple of years ago.
Yeah, well.
But he got overruled by Bob Kraft and Tom Brady. He wanted to keep Jimmy Garoppolo.
But we still talk about Tom Brady being the lone thing that's the bright spot of their offense. I mean, it's not like Brady's bad.
No, I mean, and if you lose Brady, I mean, it's time to turn things over to Jarrett Stidham. What?
I mean, if Julian Edelman doesn't drop a 2nd and 6 when he's wide open, they may drive down and they kick a field goal and they win the game 16-14. Right?
I also have a theory that, Brady's been incredibly durable for the last, 31 years he's been there. But the guys who get hurt all the time are all the receivers, right? All those guys get knocked. Brady had the one injury against the Raiders, but everyone else, all the receivers get hurt. And I think it's because Brady lays those guys out there to get hit so he doesn't get hit. So he can say, but now, there's no one else. You have Edelman, and who else? Who's the other guy you're going to get the ball to?
Yeah. Yeah. In the NFC, it was Minnesota over New Orleans in overtime, 26-20 as New Orleans season comes to a close for the second straight year in overtime at home.
Hate to see it.
Two turnovers for the Saints after having just 8 all season long. Dalvin Cook, 130 total yards of offense, 2 touchdowns for the Vikings. This was the stunner of the weekend.
I hated it.
Yeah,
it's too bad for the Saints.
Yeah.
I texted somebody this morning, and I was like, sorry about the Saints. And then I sent another text, and I said, not really. The Saints' motto this season was unfinished business.
Yeah.
It's still unfinished.
Still unfinished going into next year. Yeah. Mike Zimmer, head coach of the Minnesota Vikings, talking about the offensive success against the Saints.
Yeah, he played great. He's played great for a long time now. Made some great throws. I thought Diggs made some great catches. Conklin had a couple nice catches. One was on, I believe, 3rd and long. But they are a good defensive football team, and we knew we said all week long this was going to be a struggle, and it showed up. A lot of ebbs and flows throughout the course of the ball game. Just proud of my team and the way they fought, the way they competed today, and it's good to see.
Saints just 324 yards of offense. The Vikings had 362. They held the Saints under 100 yards rushing, but third down conversions, Minnesota 10 of 18 in the ball game. Pretty impressive.
Yeah, I mean, look, the Saints outscored people all year long, and every time I watch a lot of Saints games, unfortunately, and every time you watch them play, it just felt like, all right, they're going to get the ball, and Breeze is going to pass the ball in 1.2 seconds and not get hit, and get a touchdown, and they ran out of points. You know, for whatever
Kirk
reason.
Cousins won a big game.
Yeah, I mean, I'll give the Vikings credit. Like this is twice now in the last 2-3 years that they knocked. I guess 2 years. It was last year the play where there was that controversial, could have been either way, pass interference. You know, I thought the officials got that one right. And this year, I know the Saints fans were mad. There could have been some offensive pass interference. Teddy Bridgewater actually ran on the field during a Saints pick six and didn't get flagged for that. So Saints were lucky to get away with that.
I saw someone tweeted during I think it was Mike. I think it was Pro Football Talk tweeted after the game and said, yes, I'll say it, the Saints should have had a chance to get the ball back in overtime and go down and tie, because the Vikings scored a touchdown to open overtime, so that means the game's over. And someone quote tweeted it and said, yeah, let's change the rules for a fan base whose team can't beat Case Keenum, Jared Goff, and Kirk Cousins. That's what we're really talking about doing here. I was like,
we better be careful. The Saints fans might file a lawsuit.
Hey man, props to Cousins. That throw to Thielen was, I mean, dude, that's a big time play in as big of a spot as you can almost get. I mean, and you've been scrutinized that you can't win a big game. And he threw a dime to Thielen.
You can't give him props. I mean, this dude's an NFL quarterback who's making millions of dollars a year. Like, you got to be able to make that.
But that dude's been under pressure so much that that's the thing. He can't win the big game. And nobody expected when that game went to overtime. Nobody thought the Vikings were going to. And they went right down the field and scored.
Who's on another team next year, Tom Brady or Drew Brees?
Tom Brady.
I don't think either one of them.
I don't think either one either.
Yeah,
but if I had to pick one of the two, I would say Brady.
Bridgewater was a lot better than Brees was.
No, he wasn't.
He was undefeated. Undefeated.
Yeah, go look at numbers, dude.
Seattle wins at Philadelphia 17-9. Seattle now 8-1 on the road this season. DK Metcalf, 7 catches, 160 yards, and a touchdown. Josh McCown was the Philadelphia quarterback.
Yeah.
My goodness. They had nobody.
They were terrible.
I mean, for them to even be in that game, I think was remarkable.
Yeah, I watched that entire game on an airplane flying. This kicked off right as we left Dubai, and I watched the entire game on the plane. They had nobody on offense. I mean, once Wentz got hurt, they I like they had a report from the sideline. They were like, now with McCown, they're going to simplify the playbook. And I was like, well, that's probably great for the Seahawks. Right. They're going to do less things than they were going to do. I don't like the Seahawks. They're not fun to watch for me, especially because you have to deal with the grandstanding by Pete Carroll the entire game on the sideline, who knows he's on camera throughout the game.
Sure.
And somebody on Deadspin once wrote that Pete Carroll thinks he's Willy Wonka, and I've always thought that was the best description of him ever. He does. He thinks he's Willy Wonka.
Pete Carroll, after the game, talking about the success of the Seahawks away from home.
Yeah, well, this was a really good accomplishment for our guys. We've come off a season of playing really well on the road, and having played well here too. To get back and get do it again. And I know there's a lot of talk how do you do that stuff again, but we did. Matter of fact, the score was even the same. I think it's a really big accomplishment. And of course, you get to advance, and you're talking about surviving. We're just fired up to have another chance to keep playing football and keep pushing it, and see how far we can go.
We'll be on the road again this week as they take on the Green Bay Packers. All right, let's take a break. When we come back, we'll look at the college football championship game, LSU and Clemson. Lance Taylor's going to join us from WJOX in Birmingham. Vinnie Verno's going to stop by with his pick for the championship game. Yeah, he was off last week. I don't know. Who knows where he was last week. But we'll visit with Vinnie Verno as well, give you the trends for the title game. Then we got our NFL trends and matchups coming up as well straight ahead. It's the Odds Couple here on Grind City Media.
The professional bull riders are bucking at FedEx Forum for the first time in over 6 years. The world's toughest riders and rankest bulls invade Memphis on February 15th for a night of non-stop bone-crushing action and entertainment. Tickets start at $15. Get the best seats now at PBR.com or Ticketmaster.com. Come watch the toughest sport on dirt. Don't miss history at the Professional Bull Riders Memphis Invitational.
Mercy Me 2020. March 22nd in Memphis at FedEx Forum with Jeremy Camp. Tickets are available now online at mercyme.org. The songs, the encouragement of Mercy Me with David Leonard. March 22nd at FedEx Forum, an evening filled with encouragement with Mercy Me and Jeremy Camp. Tickets are on sale now. Presented by Texas Arms of Love.
Fill up on your next Gen Grizz with the all-new Taco Bell Chalupa Family Pack. Get 4 Grizzlies tickets and a $20 Taco Bell gift card starting at $44 per game. It is the most affordable way for the entire family to enjoy dinner and a game. The next Taco Bell Chalupa Family Pack night is Friday, January 10th, when the Grizzlies host the San Antonio Spurs at 7 p.m. For more details and to purchase your Taco Bell Chalupa Family Pack, visit grizzlies.com today.
For the first time in 25 years, the Doobie Brothers, Tom Johnston, Michael McDonald, Pat Simmons, and John McPhee, 50th Anniversary Tour. Rock and Roll Hall of Fame nominees, the Doobie Brothers, with special guest, Dirty Dozen Brass Band. FedEx Forum, Saturday, October 17th. Get tickets now at livenation.com. Welcome back to GrindCityMedia.com, live from FedEx Forum and the American Home Shield Studio. Now, here's more of the Odds Couple, Rob Fischer and Lang Whitaker.
It's time, Memphis. Join Jaren Jackson Jr., Brandon Clark, and your Memphis Grizzlies. Friday, January 10th at 7 o'clock as they play host to the San Antonio Spurs. Presented by Crown Royal. Get Memphis and get your tickets today to see your next Gen Grizz by calling 901-888-HOOP or clicking grizzlies.com.
How about your playoff Grizz?
How about those Grizz? This is the biggest game of the decade coming up on Friday. Yeah.
Actually, the decade starts next year.
Oh, well, all right. Well, it's still a big game. Friday against the Spurs.
Way to crap all over that, Lang.
Yeah, thanks, Lang. That was going to be my big line for the broadcast
I like
on
it,
Friday. Welcome back to the Odds Couple, everyone. We will look at the NFL trends and picks coming up a little bit later on. Vinnie Verno will join the program as well. Got the college football championship game coming up on Monday as LSU takes on Clemson. LSU a 5.5-point favorite over the Clemson Tigers, total at 69.5. Joe Burrow, Heisman Trophy winner, who's been fantastic, talks about the keys of success for the Tigers this year.
It's nice to have a couple goofy guys when I'm so serious all the time, so they keep me having fun on the football field. You know, we've worked for this. We know the kind of team we have. We know the kind of guys we have, and I think it starts with the relationships that we've built between us and the coaching staff. You know, we're such a close team. I think that's why we've had so much success. We go into every game thinking nobody can stop us, and that's the way we think. We think we need to score every time we touch the ball, and if we don't, then we're still kind of chasing that perfect game. You know, it's always something to get better at, and today was a lot of fun, but still room to improve. And I trust my guys. I trust them enough to throw 50-50 balls up to them, and they're going to go make a play for me. So I got great people around me, and that's why we've been so successful. We have trust in each other.
Joining us now to talk a little college football championship and NFL playoffs, he's the host of the Roundtable on WJOX in Birmingham. He's on Twitter at @TheLanceTaylor. And you can get his picks daily at lanceslock.com. Lance Taylor joins us here on the Odds Couple. Hello, Lance.
Good afternoon, fellas. And week, it's getting good. We've got divisional playoffs and national championship matchup. I can't believe we've had to wait so long for Clemson LSU, but it should be a good one.
Yeah, it feels like we have waited so long for this game. Yeah. And with LSU coming in, it feels like the better matchup would have been last year's Clemson team against LSU.
I would agree. I mean, and especially easy to say that in retrospect because Clemson was so dominant against Alabama. I still think this is a really good Clemson team that maybe was a little shell-shocked early on the first half against Ohio State, but I still think Ohio State has one of the best 2 or 3 defenses in college football. So once Clemson got adjusted, you know, they were got a way to win that game. And, look, it was impressive in the fourth quarter. And now we're talking about a Clemson team that's won 29 consecutive games, and, oh, by the way, they're catching almost a touchdown.
Right. But this LSU offense, can they be slowed down? I mean, we have not seen it this year.
Well, we haven't seen it, and it is one of the most dominant offenses we've ever seen in college football, and it's one of the reasons that they put a 63 spot on Oklahoma. They put 50 on A&M. They put 46 on Alabama on the road. I mean, it's just been completely dominant, and it's one of the reasons this total is sitting at 69.5, and Joe Burrow had a bad game. I mean, we typically see it year in, year out. Even as good as Heisman Trophy winning quarterbacks are, they typically have one bad game. He has yet to complete less than 70% of his passes. So I don't think there's going to be a bad game for this LSU offense.
If with that being the case, is 5.5, is LSU good enough to cover the 5.5 against a team that's won 29 straight?
Yeah, I think the difference here, and Clyde Edwards-Helaire has been really good for LSU. I'm still not 100% sure that he's 100%. On the other side, Travis Etienne has been one of the best running backs in college football the last couple of years. You look at national title winners since we have gone to the college football playoff format, 4-1 straight up when they have outrushed their opponents. So I lean Clemson there. I'm catching 5.5. I'm talking about a quarterback that is 26-0 as a starting quarterback. And, I think, Clemson, what they were able to do against that Ohio State defense, LSU's defense not as good. I think Clemson's going to be able to move the ball. I'll take the points here, plus 5.5.
All right, taking Clemson. Now the NFL playoffs this weekend. We had 3 road teams win last week. It felt like it was a real 2-2 on picks type of week last week.
Yeah, I think we might get the opposite this week because, all of those teams had one thing in common, and they were all coming straight from Week 17 into the wild card weekend. Now we've got some teams with rest, and I think that means something.
Yeah, in the NFC, the San Francisco 49ers, they earned that week of rest after they knocked off Seattle in the final week of the regular season. They're a touchdown favorite against the Minnesota Vikings. It's a new spot for San Francisco, a new position that they're in. Is that a factor going into this one?
Well, it is Jimmy Garoppolo's first postseason start, so I think there could be something to that. And you look at San Francisco, as dominant as they were early on, their last 3 games have come down to the final 10 seconds of possession. But I think a week of rest has done them right. And look, Minnesota's going to come in with a lot of confidence, able to beat New Orleans in the Superdome. But Kirk Cousins, that was his first postseason win, and I find it hard to believe he's going to be able to go on the road against 2 elite teams and win back-to-back games. I'm going to take San Francisco here. I'm going to lay the 7.
Elsewhere in the NFC, the Seahawks going on the road against the Packers. Seahawks, bad playoff team on the road, although the win last week, but they've been unbelievable on the road this season, now 8-1 after last week's win. They go into Green Bay, Packers team given 4. Packers kind of like New England this year, where great record, but not a lot of confidence in how good they really are.
Yeah, I agree, Rob. I don't know why. I just don't like this Packer team. And you look at Aaron Rodgers only completing 62% of his passes, doesn't have a ton of weapons around him. And I like where Seattle is right now, especially on the road. You mentioned Russell Wilson hadn't had postseason road success before, but now we're talking about a team that is 8-1 on the road. You're catching more than a field goal. I'm going to play Seattle here. I like Seattle plus the 4.
In the AFC, the Ravens have been the one team that really, when you start looking at teams they catch the fire and they head into the playoffs on a roll. Well, they've won 12 straight games now, but that's a huge number against a Titans team that played really well in Foxborough.
Well, Derrick Henry can only do so much, and Ryan Tannehill didn't have a good game in Foxborough, and I know Tannehill's played well down the stretch, but I think it's more or less a little one-dimensional for Tennessee. You look at Baltimore, 9 double-digit wins this year. They're 9-3 against the number coming off rest weeks under John Harbaugh. I like Baltimore in this spot. I know it's a big number, but again, 9 double-digit wins already this year. I'm going to make it 10.
And we've talked about the Texans and how weird of a team they've been. They can look great. They can, and we saw it last week. I think we saw both views of the Texans in one game last week against Buffalo. They got a tough task going to Arrowhead.
Way too inconsistent. Down 16-0, shouldn't have won that game. They did find a way to win it. I love me some Deshaun Watson, but way too inconsistent. You look at Kansas City, another one of these teams, when they have extra rest under Andy Reid, 18-3 straight up. I like Kansas City here. It's another big number, but I'm going to lay the 9.5 Kansas City, something to prove after blowing the AFC Championship game last year.
Well, Lance, tell folks what they can get at lanceslock.com.
You get everything: college basketball, the NBA, obviously these NFL playoffs. You go online. You never have to talk to anybody. We're very transparent. We've got a free play up every day. Just go to lanceslock.com. It's $3 a day, $90 a month. Jump on board for a month. Sample us out. See what you think. Really simple, lanceslock.com.
Sounds great. Always a pleasure, man. Thank you much. Enjoy the football this weekend.
You too, Rob. See you, man.
All right, Lance Taylor joining us from WJOX in Birmingham and talking a little NFL playoffs and college football championship. He's going with Clemson getting the 5.5 points.
Nope.
I don't know. LSU's just been too impressive for me.
All year, well, not all year, but the last 2 months, I've kept talking about how for LSU, this is a team of destiny. We knew it was coming. They're playing in the championship in New Orleans. Now it's happening.
Yeah.
And they're going to win. They're going to win by at least 10 points.
And they got Ed Orgeron, their head coach, Coach O, talking about how good his team is and being home in New Orleans.
It's incredible what this coaching staff has done, what these players have done, the connection that they have with the receivers, the protection on the offensive line. I've been a part of some good football teams, but I've never been a part of an offense like this. We have to prepare. We have to study. We have to be ready to play our best football game. Obviously, when you play in a national championship game, you'll be playing a very, very good football team. So we're going to prepare, and obviously we feel that's going to be an advantage playing at home, and we love that it is at home, but that's not going to win the game for you.
Ed Orgeron talking about his team. LSU 10-2-1 against the spread this season. They've won 46 of 48 games when they scored just 20 points. 20 points. They've won 46 of 48. They've gone over in 11 of their last 16. They're 11-2 straight up against top 10 opponents in their last 13. Both losses coming to Alabama. 40 or more points in 5 of their last 7 against top 10 opponents. One of them that they went under, they had 37 against the Georgia Bulldogs. So they've been right there.
37.
They just haven't had that. They haven't had that bad week, that close call, that scare, that adversity. Now, maybe they face it early in this game, but just because of what they can do offensively, you just figure that they can overcome it.
They're too good. Like they're not going to have that scare. And the way Burrow's been playing, the way Edwards-Helaire has played, they have the great receiving core. Like Clemson's got a good defense, but how do you stop them? Like we saw Georgia rush 3 guys. They had 8 dudes back in coverage, and Burrow still picked them apart.
Yeah.
I don't know how you stop this team, and I don't think you can. I think LSU's going to win this thing and win it big.
Although no one has stopped Clemson. They've won 29 straight. Trevor Lawrence, 26-0 as the starting quarterback. Clemson, 12-2 against the spread away from home. 7-0 against the spread taking on winning teams. 11-3 against the spread this year. They've covered their last 8 games. It's been a heck of a run for Dabo Swinney's team.
We've got a windshield mentality in our program. That's why we're consistent. It's always about what's next. Our dreams are always greater than our memories, and that's just the way it is. So we're just getting started. So the best is yet to come. I mean, I said in 2010, after a 6-win season, I said we're fixing to have the winningest decade in Clemson history. So, I mean, I dream big. I mean, I actually, we're a little short. I dreamed a little bit bigger. We missed a couple, but we've had a great run. Been an unbelievable decade. What we've done on the field and off the field, and that gets lost a lot of times. What we've done academically, we've been top 10 9 out of 11 years, 8 out of the last 9 years. Us, Duke, and Northwestern. So these are a bunch of graduates. There's a bunch of great young men that have come through our program. We've stayed committed to the purpose of our program.
Us, Duke, and Northwestern.
Yeah.
Great.
Yeah.
Hey, you know what? No one cares about what you've done academically.
Oh, see, now you just fall into his hands of nobody caring about them.
You know what? Nobody does care about them. They're going to get thumped by LSU in the championship game.
Well, we'll have our official pick
coming
up here in a little bit.
I'm making mine now.
Who does Vinnie Verno have in the game this week?
Good question.
We welcome Vinnie Verno joining us on the telephone as he continues to do the research.
I thought he was going to be here.
Well, yeah, I guess a lot more work and research for this national championship game. Vinnie Verno, hello.
Hello. Hold on. I don't have license and registration. This friggin' idiot pulled me over. I was on my way down to see you, and now this idiot My name is Vinnie Verno. Look it up. Don't. Good grief.
Google it.
Over on the side of the highway. He's like, who are you? Why are you wearing a hat? Here, how about this? Hey, officer, you want a pick? All right, I think I got this idiot away from me. He's going back to his car, I think. As long as he don't get that gun, I'm straight. All right, what do you want? You wanted to pick, right?
We just want to pick,
by the way, yeah. You're welcome for being 100% during the bowls. You're welcome.
Right.
Thought out Buffalo, lock.
Right.
And the reason, in fact, the reason a friggin' guy, I guess, I don't know, I don't have license and registration. I guess the reason the guy pulled me over is because I was speeding. I was speeding down the highway. I was blaring Metallica, and, Sam Elliger's coming back, so I was all amped up. Next year's going to be a big year, too.
Yeah.
Get on that Heisman odds now. If he didn't win this year, he's getting it next year. I know it.
Yeah.
Right.
He didn't win this year, so. Yeah.
Yeah, right. So there's one game left, right? It's Clemson is they're playing LSU, right?
Yes, that is correct. Yeah.
Yeah. And the line is like 6, something like that, 5.5.
Yeah.
What we got?
5.5.
What's the line?
5.5. Yeah.
Oh, okay. This is ridiculous. Number one, how many times has Joey Lawrence lost?
None. 0. 26-0.
Joey Lawrence.
26-0. He went straight from Blossom to Clemson and has never lost a game.
Right.
Now, what did you say the record was for Clemson in their last 29 games?
29-0. Yeah.
29-0. And who is the underdog in this game?
Clemson.
Did you just tell me that 29-0, Joey Lawrence is 26-0, and they're giving me points?
Yes. Yes, that is correct. Yes.
Easily the most ridiculous thing I have ever heard in my life. I bet you two dolts picked LSU, didn't you?
Well, we haven't made it official yet, but we're leaning that way. Yeah.
All right, well, let me tell you this. You're going to wake up in the morning, and you're going to say, I bet on a team playing against the team that was 29-0. I bet against the quarterback that was 26-0. What the hell is wrong with me? Vinnie Verno will sleep. I ain't even watching the game. I'm putting my $1 million on Clemson, money line, going to bed, waking up the next morning, knowing the result. Do as you will. Buy into what you. So what? They beat Georgia, and then Georgia stinks. They can't score on anybody. They beat Oklahoma. Oklahoma is awful. Clemson just took out the best team in the country besides them in Ohio State. They're 29-0. Joey Lawrence, 26-0. Dabo Swinney, world is all against us, and you're going to bet against them. Good luck. But you don't roll. Clemson plus 5.5, but we don't need them. They're winning straight up. Oh, my God, this friggin' officer has got a pistol. I gave you the pick, officer.
I think he got tasered.
We better let Vinny go. Vinny, thanks, man. Vinny, going with Clemson. Yeah. Straight up.
Straight up. Money line.
It's LSU. All right. We'll have our picks when we come back. This is The Odds Couple. Rob Fischer, Lang Whitaker with you here on Grind City Media.
The voice, the hits, the tour. The wait is over. Celine Dion, Courage World Tour. February 9th, FedEx Forum. The first North American tour in over a decade. Reserve seats on sale now at Ticketmaster.com. Celine Dion. Produced by Concerts West. Get tickets now. Having sold more than 100 million records worldwide, the iconic Cher returns. Here We Go Again Tour 2020, performing hits spanning her entire career. FedEx Forum, March 16th. Featuring special guests Nile Rodgers and Chic. Get tickets now at LiveNation.com. For more, visit Cher.com.
Grizz Nation, tip off the new year at the Grizz Bash, a Grizz-styled game night featuring cocktails, games, and more. Thursday, January 9th at FedEx Forum. Battle Jaron Jackson Jr. in the ping pong tournament, sink a putt with John Morant, or just enjoy all the festivities, including live music, great food, and drinks, plus participate in other classic games with Grizzlies players like Mario Kart, Cornhole, and more. It's game on as you sip and play your way around FedEx Forum. Tickets start at $75, and all the proceeds support the life-saving work at St. Jude Children's Research Hospital. For more details, visit Grizzlies.com today.
Art, sound, and sensory overload. Tool Live. Friday, January 31st, FedEx Forum. The new album, Fear Inoculum, out now. Tool. Get your tickets on sale now at livenation.com. Tool, presented by Live Nation.
Welcome back to The Odds Couple on GrindCityMedia.com. Live from FedEx Forum and the American Home Shield Studio. Here's The Odds Couple, Rob Fischer and Lang Whitaker.
Don't miss the Grizzlies of tomorrow when the Memphis Hustle take on the Santa Cruz Warriors on Monday at Landers Center at 7 o'clock. It's Mississippi Monday, and all Mississippi residents get in for just $10 with a valid Mississippi ID. Go to memphishustle.com, call 901-888-HOOP, or visit the Landers Center box office to purchase tickets today. Welcome back, everyone. It is The Odds Couple here on Grind City Media. We got playoff action coming up this weekend, divisional playoff action coming up this weekend. Minnesota taking on San Francisco. San Francisco, the number one seed in the NFC. They're a 7-point favorite, total at 45. San Francisco, fourth in offense, second in defense, 6-2 at home. Total has gone under in Minnesota's 6 of their last 7 games when they've played San Francisco. Total's gone over in 5 of Minnesota's last 6 games on the road. San Francisco has won 9 of their last 10 when playing at home against the Vikings. John Roser, as our resident San Francisco 49ers fan, how are you feeling?
I'm actually pretty good about this one. D Ford, Quan Alexander, Jaquaski Tart, all back. Quan Alexander had the J.J. Watt pectoral tear. He suffered in the Arizona game back on Thursday night on Halloween. He's back. He was playing at an all-pro level. He's a Pro Bowl linebacker. I mean, that's what he is.
Did you say there's a guy named Jaquaski Tart?
Yeah, Jaquaski Tart. He's back in the secondary, which, God, we've needed. And D Ford is back. And when D Ford, Nick Bosa, and Quan Alexander have been on the field together. They've been on the field for 108 snaps together this season, which is not a lot of snaps. The opposing quarterback's rating is 3.
Jeez. Like 3?
3.
The number 3.
The number 3. Yeah.
Wow.
When you got Ford and Bosa both rushing the edge, you
feel good about the game. Do you feel good about the number?
We'll get to the picks.
Okay.
We're not doing the picks right now. We'll get to the picks. Got Roser's Wagers.
We got to talk about that too. We got to come up with a better name than Roser's
I like
Wagers.
Roser's Wagers.
It doesn't even rhyme.
There doesn't have to be alliteration in it, okay?
It has to sound good.
Richard Sherman of the 49ers, he's ready to tell everybody that he was right on his decision to come to the 49ers.
It feels great. I felt like I made the right decision, and I knew what I was doing when I did it. And that's why it was frustrating to hear all the nonsense. But, when you have people saying stuff like that, you got to wait for the long play. You got to wait for the long play. And, I keep all the receipts. I keep it in my back pocket because I know I'm going to be right in the end. I'm a very hard one to defeat. It's all about confidence. It's all about having confidence in yourself and understanding what your capabilities are and having honest conversations with yourself, with who you are and what you think you're capable of. And it's the same thing I would tell my son. You got to push yourself to the limits. You got to push yourself, and you got to deserve to get what you earn. And if you do everything to deserve it, then when you get it, you shouldn't be surprised. You should expect it.
All right, whatever. Man keeps receipts.
He's so full of crap.
He really is.
He's second team All-Pro. He's been amazing this year. He's been one of the top 5 corners in the league, but he is full of it.
Also on Saturday, Tennessee will visit Baltimore. Ravens 9.5-point favorite. That total at 47. Baltimore with the second best offense, first in rushing offense, fourth overall defense, 7-1 at home this season. They've won 12 straight games. Last 5 games that these two teams have played in Baltimore have all gone under. The last 5 have all gone under. So keep that in mind, under the 47. Mike Vrabel, he's the head coach of the Tennessee Titans, talked about moving on to Baltimore.
I'm honored to coach these guys, and there's no other team that I would rather have come in here with than the one that was out there on the field. And I'm thankful that I get to coach them another week. We're all excited. We'll enjoy it, but we got to get back to work quickly, and we have to get as healthy as we possibly can. And and get ready to go on the road again. Just a huge challenge, for what they've been able to do in all three phases. We'll have to find a way to try to slow them down. I do know that there are a lot of ups and downs as the season, as you work your way through the season. I think trying to remain consistent in our approach. I know that, unfortunately, our performance isn't always going to be consistent. I do think the effort has been very consistent. I think that these guys think they play hard. There's a lot of things that happen through the course of a season.
What's he talking about?
I don't know.
Yeah,
Mike Vrabel. He's from the New England tree.
There's 3 teams that made me a lot of money this year, or made me a lot of GCUs.
Yeah.
LSU, Ohio State, and the Baltimore Ravens. Just throwing that out there.
12 straight wins for the Baltimore Ravens, hottest team, obviously, in the National Football League, and they take on Ryan Tannehill and the Tennessee Titans this week. Big line as well in the other AFC matchup is Kansas City, 9.5-point favorite over Houston. That total at 50.5. Kansas City only 5-3 at home this season in a place that usually is a death trap for teams to go into. Chiefs have won 6 straight. They've covered their last 5 games as well. Total's gone under in 4 of Houston's last 5 games on the road. Patrick Mahomes, quarterback of the Kansas City Chiefs, says team's motivated after what happened last year.
Yeah, I don't know if it was necessarily just the Patriots game, just falling just that close to the Super Bowl, which is your ultimate goal when you come into the offseason and knowing all the work that we had put in and not getting to the game, giving ourselves an opportunity. It definitely gave me some motivation to go out there and just continue to get better and continue to progress in any way possible. And now we're going to put ourselves an opportunity now that we're going to have a chance of making a run at this thing, and we have a lot of momentum going into the playoffs. It's obviously it's awesome. I mean, this year I think I really put into perspective like how hard it is to go out there week by week and put up numbers and get wins. And so it's a struggle in this league. Teams are coming with your best effort, playing that's really hard. And so just to have the guys around me that I do, it makes my job a lot easier about just getting them the ball and them making a lot of these big plays.
I would not have picked that to be Patrick Mahomes' voice.
No.
Sounds like Mike Norvell.
A little bit. Yeah, a little bit. The Houston Texans, just the weirdest team in the NFL this year.
Yeah.
Really good team, but just inconsistent. Can look great, can look okay, can look bad. I mean, they would be the one team that I'd say don't bet on.
But I would also say don't bet on Andy Reid in the playoffs.
That's also very true. Yes. Yeah. So don't bet the Houston-Kansas City game. That's pretty much what we're saying.
I'm not.
No, I wouldn't either. We're going to pick it because we have to. It's the show.
We
it's
get
kind of what we do. But I wouldn't bet it. Seattle, Green Bay. Green Bay a 4-point favorite. Total at 46. Green Bay 7-1 at home. They've won 5 straight games. Seattle 8-1 this season on the road. They're 11-3-1 against the spread. Their last 15 on the road. Now Green Bay has won the last 5 at home against Seattle. Aaron Rodgers, quarterback of the Packers, talking about the time off and also his offense.
Right now, we're 2 wins from the Super Bowl, and we know for sure the first one's going to be here. So that's our focus, is finding what works and what we like from the first 16 weeks, what we want to adjust here the next 10 days of preparation, and go out and execute. Yeah, it's been a while since we had to, bye in the playoffs. Feels good. Nice little break for us. We need to get healthy. Obviously, a lot of guys banged up front, especially. So. Good timing for it. Feel good about the grasp of the offense, the checks, and kind of the expansion of some stuff that we've been working on throughout the season to get to this point where I feel like we can just do more and get more comfortable Monday to Saturday as we get the plan looking the way we want it to look.
Packers favored by 4. All right, time for our picks. We ready?
Let's go.
All right, we'll start with Fish's 5. My 5 picks for the week, I am going with the LSU Tigers, despite what Vinnie Verno says. I think they're just too good offensively. I don't think they'll be intimidated at all by Clemson, and I think they've torn up some good defenses this year. Even when they haven't scored a lot of points, they put up a lot of yards. I think they'll do the same against Clemson this week. They're just a team of destiny. They're the best team in college football. LSU wins it, and they win it by double digits. I'm going with the Minnesota Vikings. I think San Francisco wins the game. I think it'll be a close game. I think San Francisco dipping into this playoff water and for the first time in a while, and still having that team that's new to this, I think it might be a little bit of a slow start for them, but I'll take the Vikings to cover the 7, but I do like San Francisco to win. I'm going with Baltimore to cover the 9.5 against the Titans. I think they've been rested, and I don't think it'll be rust. No. They're just on too good of a roll. Titans too one-dimensional, as Lance was talking about earlier with Derrick Henry. They don't have much of a passing game. I like Baltimore big at home over the Titans. I like Houston to cover against the Chiefs. That number at 9.5, just too big. Andy Reid playoff factor being one of it. I think the Chiefs win this game as well, but I'll take the dog to cover the 9.5. And I'm taking the Seahawks straight up in Green Bay against the Packers. I like Seattle. I like their coach. I like their quarterback. DK Metcalf was fantastic last week. I think it's a team that's battle-tested, obviously, and I think they are road-tested this year and have been very good. I'm going to take the Seahawks over Green Bay. Lang's locks.
I'm with you on LSU. I think they win big. I think LSU does to Clemson what Clemson did to Alabama last year. And, hey, Dabo, I don't believe in you. I'm the guy. Okay. I know you talk about it all the time. I'm the guy. I don't believe in you.
He thinks we all don't believe in him.
Well, no one's going to after this game. With you on the 49ers, Vikings, I think 49ers win. I don't think they cover. I think Ravens are just going to roll. They've been rolling all season, 12 in a row, like you said. And maybe Bill O'Brien figures out some way to slow them down, but I don't think the Texans are going to cover that. I'm sorry. I don't think the Ravens are going to have a problem scoring the points. The only thing we really disagreed on was that Seahawks game, Seahawks-Packers. And I said it earlier, I don't like the Seahawks. I don't like Pete Carroll. And I'm making a pick here with my heart instead of my head, and I'm going to take the Packers. I will be glad if I'm wrong and they eke out a win here. I just don't want the Seahawks to win. I have no reason at all, but I just don't want them to win.
I know Roser doesn't want them to win either. Time for Roser's wagers.
Yeah, I had two picks last week that I bet with my heart instead of my head, and I lost both of them.
Yeah, I mean, that always happens.
So, yeah, I bet with my heart instead of my head.
I'm saying it right now. That's what I'm doing, and I'm probably going to lose it. But
Dabo's getting to play this underdog thing. He actually for real gets to play it now.
Yeah.
He does get to play it for real, and he can. So I think Clemson's going to cover the number. I think Clemson's going to be winning this game at halftime. So
I got
if you
news
get
for
Clemson
you.
on the first half line, get them on the first half line.
Dabo's been playing that line for 29 weeks in a row now.
He can really, really play it in this game. We're on the road. Yeah, it's not in Baton Rouge, but it's in Louisiana in the Superdome. We're on the road, but we got God with us. All right? He's going to do something like that. 49ers, Vikings. I think the Saints, they're probably – this is where I bet with my heart and not my head. My heart was like, dude, the Saints are going to freaking kill the Vikings. Where my head was, if the line is over 7 in a playoff game, just take the underdog. Just take the underdog in the NFL playoffs. If it's over a touchdown, take the underdog. 49ers, Vikings, I'd buy it down to 6.5. But, yeah, I think the 49ers are going to win the game. I think Ford and Bosa. The Saints couldn't get after Kirk Cousins last week. I think the Niners will be a lot better with that, with Bosa and Armstrong, or Bosa and Armstead and
Tart.
D Ford. Tart plays in the secondary, Lang.
I just like that name, Tart.
Jaquaski Tart. It's a great name. So that's why I'm going to take the Titans plus the 9.5 against the Ravens. Buy it to 10. Buy the hook. You don't want to get beat by 10 points and get beat by that hook, so buy it to 10. The Chiefs-Texans line being 9.5 is just way too weird for me. Way too weird. Everyone should be on Houston with this line being that way. And I tend to think probably a lot of people are on Houston. The fact that line's not moving is very strange.
Yeah.
But, yeah, I'll take the Texans. Deshaun Watson, man. I don't think Deshaun Watson's going to get run in a playoff game. And then I bet with my heart last week and took the Philadelphia Eagles because I hate the Seattle Seahawks so much. And I despise them. With every bone in my body, I despise them. They're going to cover the 4 against Green. The Green Bay team ain't that good. And neither is Seattle. But Seattle's freaking awesome on the road, and they play all these close games. They're used to playing close games, and so they'll keep it within the number.
Yeah, they've had close games all season, and they have been dominant on the road. 8-1 on the road. And like I said, Green Bay's kind of like New England of the NFC this year. Great record, but you just kind of still have questions about them week in and week out. All right, it's going to be fun.
Yeah. Hey,
fun.
When I was on the plane layover in Dubai last week, I ate 3 Jaquaski tarts, and they were delicious.
Did you? They were
delicious.
Good. They were good. Good.
That was a horrible joke. Be better, Lang.
Roser's wagers.
Be better.
Wagers.
Be better.
Roser's wagers.
Roser's wagers. Roser's wagers have been good this year. Up 119 at Grind City units on the season. Very nicely done. Very nice. That's going to do it for us. Lang, by the way, up 441.
Is 119 as much as 441? I don't think so.
That's pretty impressive.
I'm way better in the NFL.
Yeah, way better. 21-7 in the NFL this year. That does it for us. We'll be back next week. We'll be talking about conference finals in the NFL, and we'll recap the national championship game. Have a great weekend, everyone, and thanks for watching The Odds Couple here on Grind City Media.
Handicapping with Rob Fischer and Lang Whitaker.